What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
You requested it. We finally did it.
Usually, I can always blame you because I watch it first and then you didn't, but this time it was me.
Well, I needed something to get me through this wonderful year that's 2021.
So far, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and
The Expanse season 5. We haven't said that yet.
Oh, we had?
No. we hadn't got to that, what we're talking about yet.
Well, I figured it would show up right there. You know, like...
You making that super?
No, I mean, like, you know how we're in the box.
Oh, we're in the box.
Yeah,
and the title would say.
Yeah,
okay.
title.
Yeah. This thing.
Yeah.
However that.
Wherever that is.
Yeah.
Expanse season 5.
Yeah. Great sci-fi television.
One of the best.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I would rival. The Expanse might be top 5 science fiction television. Up here with these.
Okay.
With Fringe, Battlestar. I mean, to me, outside of your Star Trek, it's Battlestar and The Expanse. There is nothing else close.
Now you were definitely a bigger sci-fi person than me, so you know more of the universe of sci-fi stuff. Mm-hmm. The stuff I've seen, I definitely enjoy The Expanse. It's a very complex show, but at the same time, they spend enough time with the characters, or you spend enough time with the characters and the plot lines going forward that you're able to understand what they're talking about.
Yes.
They talk about some heady concepts and really get into stuff, but you spend so much time with the characters in the world that you're able to understand it. For me.
Sorry, I want to also mention Babylon 5, because I don't want the Babylon 5 people to show up, you know.
I've heard good things about Babylon. Can I watch Babylon 5 somewhere?
Actually, if you pay attention to our Facebook page, HBO Max is Warner Brothers is helping to restore Babylon 5 to high definition,
okay.
And they're actually going to be selling it, and it will eventually show up streaming on HBO Max.
Okay.
They haven't fixed everything, but they've done a very good job, meticulous job of trying to convert it all into digital form.
Got it. Okay, cool. So where do you want to go with this?
I mean, let's start at the beginning. This season starts off after Holden and the crew come back through the ring.
Yes.
The Rocinante is now at Aero Station, being worked on right now.
Spoilers from the beginning.
Hold on. Is it Eros or is it Tycho? Oh man, it's
wherever Fred's at.
Tycho Station. Yeah,
wherever
Tycho.
Fred's at.
So that's where the Rocinante is. This season is very interesting because we've always seen them together. They're always on the ship going up against whatever's going on together. Mm-hmm. And in this season, they were very much split up, isolated from one another. Whereas Alex was off on Mars, we saw Amos going to Earth because there was a death in his somewhat family.
Yeah.
We saw Holden staying behind with Naomi and fixing the ship, Rocinante.
And those two split.
And then those two split up. We saw Kamina out there with her
her band of scavenger pirates or whatever.
Yeah. So everybody's kind of split up. They're not together. And this was a very interesting season. I will say for me, this is, like, I love Amos. Amos is one of my favorite characters.
He's very fun, yeah.
This season, to me, Wes Chatham was amazing. I know a lot of people liked last season for him, and I thought he did a good job as well. I wasn't really a big fan of the whole Planet season. I thought that was, I'm not going to say the weak, it's just the one I didn't like, because it just, the setting and scenery was a little drab. I just wasn't a big fan of that part of it. Mm-hmm. But to me, this season, Amos is what stood out for me.
For me, my favorite character, no surprise, Dominique Tipper, Naomi Nagata.
Yep.
Even when we first started talking about this show from the beginning, I was like, I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's a beautiful lady. But even beyond that, her character is really awesome this season. And the stuff she goes through.
Yep.
Are we doing spoilers yet? Yeah.
I mean, we're doing a review. All right, guys. So we're gonna do spoilers. So If you haven't seen it, come back at the end. We'll probably do like that. We're done with spoilers and like our projections or predictions for season 6, which is the final season on Amazon.
Yeah.
So spoilers. Let's get into it. Let's get into the show.
Okay, so going on to that, since we're talking about spoilers, I really enjoyed Naomi's. At first, I was kind of like I wasn't a fan of seeing Naomi Nagata in the what was her ship called? Doesn't matter. Whatever ship she was on after she went to go meet her son and the dad. Yeah.
Terrace family.
The Terrace family, and they put her on a ship to be a decoy or
Well, they didn't put her on the ship.
Yeah. Sorry, not a decoy, but she got herself on the ship or whatever, and she
escaped.
Yeah, she was working. I didn't like to see her continually beat herself up. And at first I was like, this seems like torture to this character, and I still don't know how I feel about it. But maybe because I cared about the character so much, I didn't want to see her in that pain of putting herself through that. But I realized she didn't want her new family to come to this ship and blow themselves up. I say all that to say, when she was finally saved at the end by Bobby, I felt such a sense of relief, and it kind of reminded me of the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock, where she was out in the world and she was finally able to escape and get back to Earth. It was a similar vibe to me, but I felt more with Naomi than I did with Sandra Bullock's character in Gravity.
Well, because I want to say the difference in the two is, one, this is your fifth season with the character of Naomi Nagata.
Yeah.
And you only had 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say she wasn't in any physical danger. I never want to say that. But the visceral pain that Naomi was in, where there would be exposed to hypothermia in space.
Props to the makeup department.
The fact that she didn't have any water. She was, she was, I don't want to say tortured, but she was mentally drained just from already having witnessing her former lover and son become mass murderers overnight. So that was a little different. You felt more for that character than you did for a 2-hour, Sandra Bullock, that at the end of it, I don't want to say you knew Sandra Bullock was going to kind of be okay, but you're like, they're not going to kill Miss Congeniality in space. I mean, you already killed, George
Clooney.
I was trying to think of his ER doctor name.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of before what's the doctor show that everybody McDreamy and McSteamy? He was the original McDreamy.
McDreamy. Yeah. Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And dang, I was about to say something about Naomi. I don't know. Well, it'll come back to me. But
I wanted to know, and I meant to ask you this on camera on purpose. Did you watch Amazon's after the show that talks about like why they did what they did?
I have not seen that yet.
So for those of you who have watched the show, Amazon did a kind of like dissecting the season, and they talked about the isolation, and they talked about how each person's journey and moving some of the characters. If you notice, Holden moved more to the back burner, and the story was driven more so by Naomi and Amos's character, and so normally it was Holden who was driving a lot of things, and this season the isolation that Naomi felt was more visceral to you because that was their goal. Their goal was to show the pain that she suffered at the hands of her physical family versus the new family that she had, and the fact that she was willing to do whatever it took to save them at the expense of herself, because there was no guarantee she could have gotten off the ship and it not explode. There was no guarantee she was going to be saved.
Right.
They were setting it up that she was sacrificing herself for the good of her family.
Like in a perfect world, or not a perfect world, but I guess if nobody ever came, her message would have said, I have control, And so she would have thought that Holden left her alone, and the ship probably just drifts on.
Yeah,
Right? Because nobody
no,
would
it
come
would
to
have exploded.
Would it have exploded?
I mean,
'Cause
I
thought
eventually,
it
somebody would have tried to
Oh,
scavenge it.
fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough. Right,
I mean,
right.
somebody would have tried to
Yeah.
oh, what is this? Boom.
Boom. Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
it's kind of like those landmines they leave in, countries, and it's like somebody goes,
Years later.
yeah, and it's like, what is this? You poke it with a stick and it's
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, you're right.
For us, Lake Murray has, every time you turn around, they're finding unexploded ordnance out there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what that ship would have been.
Pretty much. So, do we talk about this show's allegories to 9/11 yet or not?
You can. I mean,
You helped me realize a lot of the parallels that like shows like Battlestar Galactica was dealing with the Gulf War.
Suicide bombing. Good
And yeah,
Lord.
just a lot of real world consequences we're seeing in
What was that, season
sci-fi.
3?
Yeah.
When the EXO was like just sending people off to just...
Yeah. And this show, I think, does a very good job of comparing parallels to 9/11 in terms of an us versus them mentality. And you see different sides who the person, I never get her name right, but the person who plays Chrissy.
Christian,
Shurish.
she's the Iranian actress. They said it in the actual video that I've just talked about too, and I'm so mad because I had it down, like I wrote it phonetically.
Who plays Chrissy? She's awesome. She's awesome in every season. And this season, we see her get to be.
Is this it? No, that's a different guy. Okay. No, I had notes. I was like, because I wrote down her name phonetically, and I was like, what did I do with it?
But we see her get to be a diplomat again because she kind of at the end of season 4.
She lost
her. What was she?
She was
The UN.
No, well, she was basically the leader of Earth.
Yeah, essentially. She's not that role anymore. She works under somebody.
She's the woman she lost to.
That place gets. We assume it gets blown up. We don't see it.
What do you mean?
The woman she works with.
Oh, but she was on a plane.
Right. She was on a plane, and we hear something. We don't actually see the explosion, but we hear something, so we assume they're gone. They can come back in season 6, maybe.
No.
Because we don't know for a fact. We didn't see them explode.
I mean, it's over.
I guess you don't really need them. Yeah, either way. So now she is part of a new government of a designated survivor. And we see her be the voice of reason with this idea of these military generals who are like, nah, we need to bomb these terrorists, these belters, to existence. They need to realize, don't mess with us anymore.
Well, the thing is, for me, I loved about it is that, and shout out to the people who watched this video and who watched our season 4 breakdown, because I was sure the woman who ran against her, and I'm trying to figure out what her name is, but the woman who actually became Secretary General, whatever the title is, and I have it here, but I cannot find her quick enough. She took the government in a new way. She wanted to go through the rings. She wanted to give new opportunities for everybody because Earth was overcrowded and jobs, new resources. She wanted to go through the rings, whereas Christian was more like, she was hesitant because she's like, we saw what happened when Holden and them touched down with just a speck of the proto-molecule. We don't know what's out there. We need to be cautious. And
Fred, I know you're dead, bro, but like, you saw what this proto-molecule can do.
But see, this is the thing that I think the show does a very good job of, that mimics real life. And I love it because there's two things. One, I'll get to with Mars. But the first thing that I think this show does a very good job, and it happens and we see it every day in our regular jobs in journalism. Everybody sees what happens with this proto-molecule. Everybody sees what will happen when you have it and no one knows what it really does. Everybody's just speculating, but they all believe I can control it. It won't happen to me.
I have the skills.
And we see it every day with people who think this won't happen to me.
Yeah.
I know better. And it mimics real life where it comes to dealing with forces you don't understand and leaving and basically leaving something alone. And that proto-molecule, for whatever reason, people were like, "Hey, let's see what it does."
Yeah.
You know, like with kids when they put something in the microwave, they know they're not supposed to. You know, it's
Let's see
like
the results.
like, no, don't put aluminum foil in there and set it for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But we see that, and then on the flip side of this exodus from Mars, from Earth, trying to get out to the rings, out to these new worlds, you see Mars becoming a shell of itself because most of their economy was terraforming Mars and their military. And now everybody and their mother is leaving Mars. That means so they're cutting up ships there, and it's a haven for black market dealing, for shops closing. We saw that from Alex and Bobby's standpoint.
Yeah.
Season 4 was great, showing us what happens.
The seedy underbelly of Mars.
Well, not just that, but what happens. Basically, what you saw was the gold rush. If you think about season 4 and season 5, what you're seeing is you're seeing the enticement of a new frontier, the
Right.
gold rush, the opportunity to go to the new world. And so if you are a history lesson, a student of history, you saw that when people got the opportunity to leave, they left behind, and towns dried up.
Yeah.
You know, for this mass expansion. So we saw that with Mars. And I think that was very interesting that they did a very good job of showing the different groups of people, from the Beltus who couldn't stand Marcos, who did not agree, but realized we either join him
Or die.
or they're going to come after us
Yeah.
like Earth did because we're Belters. And he knew that.
Yeah.
He did Marcos, for all his bravado, is a very intelligent. He's an evil man.
Yeah.
But he's a very intelligent.
He's not a fool.
And this is the one thing, again, from regular history: one man's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter.
Yeah. And they did a good job with what's Inaros? Marcos Inaros? Yeah, Philip Inaros. That probably his last
Philip
name.
is the son. Marcos is the dad.
Right. But I'm assuming Philip's last name will probably be Inaros too, right?
I don't know how they do last names.
Yeah, good point. Whoever, Marcos
They're Belters. I mean, they,
and Philip, and Naomi, they do a good job of.
Nancy Gow.
Okay,
That's
that's the name. Yeah, they do a good job of showing that family and showing why they broke up, and at least at first, I think Marcos does a good job of painting Naomi in a bad light to Philip, because again, we said he's a smart person, and as the show goes on, or as the season goes on, we see more and more of Marcos kind of maybe not being as altruistic as he appears to be.
As the show goes on,
As the season goes on.
we saw that from season 4.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is there was a point where you thought, oh, he still kind of cares about his son.
No, I never thought that.
Okay, well, the show got me. Then.
I always felt like he was a narcissistic jagoff who was only. I felt when Naomi said that Marcos will do whatever, he doesn't care about you, he only cares about himself. I saw that in season 4 when he was introduced, and I was just like, man, he is going to wreck shop.
Okay.
Because I felt he was one of those type people who just felt like, I can talk myself out of any situation, and I can get you to do anything, or I'm going to move you out of the way.
Okay.
And
you're the opposition, I can move you out of the way.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know if I'm just a sucker, which I could be, but I felt for a little bit that he did kind of care about his son, and maybe a little bit he does. But he's definitely out for number one, and you can see the idea of there are a couple scenes where he's like, Philip kind of did something for the people, and Marcos is like, you think what you did matters? No, this is my revolution, my movement, and you can kind of see
when he told him, he said, "You hear that name they're chanting?"
Yeah, and you can kind of see they're planting the seeds for Philip probably to break away from Marcos and either go back to Naomi or maybe die saving Naomi in season 6. I think that could be a setup for that.
I hope Philip dies with Marcos.
Dang.
I hope he's conflicted, and I hope at the last. I know people want this. I know they want it. They want him to be saved. They want him. Nope. I want him to I want him to be like, I cannot do it. I'm going to stay, and because that the inevitable spoiler the bad guy becomes a good guy and helps out. I'm tired of that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it, like, don't get me wrong, it worked in the first time Star Wars did it, but then Rise of Skywalker showed up and you're like,
Again?
come on. You know what? I like my bad guys bad. I don't need you. I don't need you to have a heart later on. I want to hate your ass.
Okay.
I hate Marcos because he is evil.
Yeah, I think that way they can kind of have your cake and eat it too. Of Marcos is going to stay bad, but maybe Philip is the one that changes.
Kill him too. This is what I want.
Yeah.
What I want is Philip to get killed, and then Marcos realizes it's his fault. Mm-hmm. And Naomi and Holden are like, oh, we got to get you now. Mm-hmm. And Naomi's like, yeah, I got to kill you because you got my son killed. And Holden's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you because I'm going to give her what you couldn't give her, a stable life.
A stable life.
Right
there. Stability.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Holden
Yeah.
is the Russell Wilson. Naomi is Sierra. Future is Marcos.
The Venn diagrams of people that need to watch this show to get all that, or to watch our reaction.
I wish I had my notes because I had that written out there.
Okay.
I did. I had like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't want. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. Were there any characters who you felt like got shortchanged this season?
Yes.
Okay. I will say this, in terms of negatives, I have enjoyed the chemistry so much of the four leads that I didn't like them being apart. I realized why they did it, but I just liked them working together more.
I love this.
So that's why I would have liked to have seen them together more.
See, it's funny because I liked it because you got to see what happens and why they mix so well as a team, but what happens when they're apart. So Alex, I felt like Alex got a little shortchanged, but we also know that there was some controversy with his character, and we know what happens.
There was a review or something I read, I think it was on Polygon, where they talked to the showrunners, and they were kind of asking, was it always plain that Alex was going to die? And they didn't necessarily answer it, but it made it seem like there was a rewrite. Mm-hmm. So if the allegations hadn't come out against Kaz Anbar, he might have still been on the show.
Because in the books he's still alive.
Okay.
That like he's still alive, and there's a possibility they could have recasted him, but they decided to go this way because the emotional impact of saving Naomi, but then realizing Alex died, was something that I think as a not a plot point, but to drive the story home, that was an interesting one because now you have Alex is gone, and now you have. My favorite character, the other Mal sister.
Yeah, who has apparently mental powers, or she?
Well, she always had them.
She has.
Remember,
implants?
she had implants. Remember, she could always do stuff, and that was That's one of the things that I'm a little upset that they have not done a good job of until now. But I also know the limitations of the special effects and budget. They probably couldn't have done that. Until now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they have her. Alex and Bobby's situation, I feel like, could have been done or had more, but they were in their ship for a lot of the, after they left Mars.
It seemed like at least 2 or 3 episodes they were pretty much solely in the ship, and it kind of reminded me of, going back to Star Wars, what's episode 8? Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Last Jedi, where a lot of the movie is people chasing after each other, and the time doesn't
jumping out of in and out of warp.
Yeah, that's kind of how this. I felt like they didn't really get to do a lot, and I like both the characters, Bobby and Alex. So I would have liked to see them do more than just sit in the ship.
The one thing
trailing Mars.
One thing I did like, and I don't feel too bad about it, was that Bobby's character in season 4 got a very good breakdown of what happens to a veteran. And how to find work, and basically a dishonorable veteran, dishonorably discharged. I thought season 4, so I really wasn't too upset with season 5 shortchanging her, because she did such a great job, and I knew part of like she's undercover, so she can't really, you can't really. I don't want to say do too much with Cass tagging along,
right?
But I will say, Amos's storyline
That was cool.
That was that was amazing.
Yeah.
And the way he, that's why I said I like the isolation between the characters, because you could see him reverting back to survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
When because he said it, I have to get back to my crew, because you know it's bad when the woman who is charged and convicted of multiple mass murders is like, hey, let's not kill everybody.
let's be friendlier to some people. Let's help these service people, the staff people. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really, Clarissa Mao, played by Nadine Nicole, one beautiful woman. I was really upset she was not. And I knew, and the funniest thing is they said she was coming back, and I didn't know in what capacity, because I stopped reading the books. And I'm so glad, because their journey was special, not in the romantic kind of like you normally see, but just in the fact of looking out for each other.
It's like they could be like, because I didn't realize who that was, and I think I said that off air. I didn't say it on air. I didn't realize that was Clarissa Mao until she had introduced herself to the staff when they got to the house. Based on the chemistry that they had, I thought that was a long lost friend that he had or something. And I just thought, oh, they were like brother and sister or something. I forgot who that was.
I really enjoyed the fact that he kept that relationship going, or talking to her even though she was a killer. And the thing that I found very interesting was he could look past the things that she did and why she did them, because he understood the things that you do are a part of you, but they don't define you.
Right.
And Amos is a prime example, and we got a clearer picture of the life Amos lived before he met Naomi, what he had to do to survive, who looked out for him, and we saw Earth and Baltimore. Baltimore. Who'd have thought Baltimore now was like the
right. Baltimore never gets a break, man.
yeah,
Baltimore
like
just,
from The Wire to Expanse.
Yeah.
You the man. But Amos to me was my favorite. Just going back to Amos whenever he was doing something was my favorite part of the show, because it just exemplified so many different things that you don't normally get to see. You got to see basically them discussing how civilization works in such a easy to digest, and he was
everybody's
like,
a tribe.
yeah,
Your tribes.
and he's like, the one thing, and I was like, that was a Batman reference, and he was like, yeah, we're a tribe. Now there's two of us.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Batman. He was like, and Commissioner Gordon was like, is it just you? He's like, nah, now there's two of us.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that was a good shout out.
Yeah.
But it really was interesting, because Amos's friends, who Timmy was like, nah, kill these people. And she was like, and Timmy was talking to Nadine, and I'm sorry, Clarissa, and he was like, well, aren't you just the optimist? Where did Amos find you? And she was like, at a maximum security prison.
Right.
And he's like,
okay.
you're not Pollyanna like I thought you were.
Right. You got some dirt on you a little bit or something.
And so that whole relationship, and my favorite part was when Amos stopped Holden, and he's like, hey man, I gotta talk to you.
That was
real quick."
great.
He's like, I
You
gotta
tried
talk.
to kill me one time, right?
He's like,
We cool?
We cool? All right, come on.
That was really good.
I lost it.
Because at first, I knew she was coming, but I thought like maybe more people would come. Like, no, just her. We good.
Son,
That was very good.
Lost it. Like, that was the funniest thing.
And I think this show balances tone so well. So when a shift happens, it hits very well. Like I think that was very funny, and because the show is kind of very serious a lot of the time, that comedy and that levity really hit at the right time to really punctuate that scene.
One of the things that I thought was very interesting is because we have three different. I get this. Somebody's probably going to correct us in the comments, but don't misunderstand me. Three different nationalities, or is it ethnicities? Is it because you have Earthers, Martians, and Belters? So is that nationality?
I think that'd be a nationality.
That's a nationality.
I would think that'd be a nationality.
I'm trying to figure it out, because Belter really isn't a nationality because they have no nation. That's why I was like, is it an ethnicity? Is Belter an ethnicity because they all like? So I'm trying to figure it out. But anyway, the thing I really enjoyed was Belters have been the crapped on people for so long. And Marcos taps into that to say, we're going to stand up for ourselves. That's Aloda.
Yeah.
And we saw Fred try to be an ambassador and say, we're going to work with Belters. And Fred's friend, I'm trying to remember his name.
The dude?
Yeah, Bull.
There were two people who I thought...
His name is Bull.
They were possibly going to turn bad during the show, and they didn't. I thought he was one. I thought at one point he might try and sabotage Holden or whatever. And then I also thought Timmy...
He was just a dick.
Yeah, I thought Timmy was going to turn bad. But no, he was just whatever. And I like that they didn't, but I thought that they might become like adversaries or something.
The thing that I liked about him, Bull's character was, and here it is, Jose Zaninka? Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. But anyway, his name is Bull. Fred brought him in. He was one of his old army buddies. Let's be honest, Fred was a bigot. Not Fred. I'm saying Bull was a bigot. The way he treated the Belters, the things he said.
Yeah,
because remember
the racial or whatever.
Called them skinnies.
Yeah.
Was it skinnies or was it
skinnies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Holden who told him, "Don't say it again."
Not on this show.
And it's interesting because that's how racism has to be stopped. Because he felt comfortable saying that around Holden.
Right.
In front of them. Even though their ship was maintained and most of the Belters did all of the work.
Right.
And he still felt comfortable. And it was almost like looking into this window into our nation's past of when the N-word was used just like willy-nilly in front of... And like it was so... You can go back and watch The French Connection. Gene Hackman uses it just in everyday conversation. And it was so interesting that it was Holden who was the one who had to say... and take a stand, hey, we're not going to use that terminology on my ship.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting that Bull kind of, you could tell he was like, man, F you. But he realized, okay, I got but you could tell, and I can get part of that when it's almost one of those things when you're raised in a certain way, and that's all you know, because we saw how quickly Earth was willing to just massacre people.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, the Belters on Eros, they were cheering, nuke them.
Yeah. We'll teach them. You're going to fear us.
It was like,
I've heard lawmakers say peace through fear. And that's kind of, yeah, for sure.
So it was very interesting to see that dynamic. And then to watch Amos and Clarissa have to make their way from the maximum security prison, then back through to Baltimore, then make their way up to basically the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And how
I like the nice little shoot on the Hamptons. That was nice.
But it was like I said, it was very interesting watching how civilization could collapse, but then also how you yourself can force people who normally would not work together out of fear that they will become the enemy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. You could see parallels through our War and Terror. But I think the one thing that this show has that I think Battlestar Galactica did and Fringe did was they had good writers who looked at real life situation and was able to apply it with more of a science fiction, or they didn't just do a flux capacitor.
Right.
It was like you could
shout out to Back to the Future, by the way. We're not hating on Back to the Future. We're just saying.
Yeah, that's one of us.
Have we talked about this? You like Back to the Future? Oh yeah, we have talked about. All right, never mind.
I'm on John Mulaney's team. Back to the Future is not. I have never hit me in the comments. I don't care. I told y'all Kong is an ashy monkey. I don't care about that. I told you I like Justice League, Zack Snyder movie coming out, but that trailer was weak, and I'm saying it again. Back to the Future, meh. I could do without it.
You got anything else to say about The Expanse? I feel like we hit everything.
I'm trying to figure out what else I can get hate for. King Kong's Descent. Said it.
You done?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to. I think that's all the hate that I can get for right now this week.
Great.
No, the Expanse was really good. I like the fact that I enjoyed Cass going to Mars and then interacting with old.
Shout out to the old Mars captain who was just a pure Martian at heart, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
He
I
dead.
don't know his name.
He did from Suits.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
no, White
Collar.
Collar.
That's what I know from White Collar. Yeah, I like that actor.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They said that in the video. They were like, yeah, he did.
Oh, so everybody on the ship died?
Everybody on that ship
Okay.
died.
Because to me, that was unclear if they had made it or not.
No, that was so that whole thing that you saw was some type of reaction
Okay, got it.
from them dying.
Okay.
So we know the proto-molecule that they stole is through the ring. So we know it's in the hands of some Martian zealots. We know Marcos is on the other side. Other than that, and with his little mini fleet.
Yeah.
So that's really going to set up season 6. So
Yeah, we're done now. Spoilers. Yeah.
So that's what I want to see is how does Clarissa become part of the team? Who is their new pilot?
Oh, wow.
Who is their new pilot?
Naomi can pilot a little bit, right?
She's,
I feel like they all can pilot a little bit.
no,
Probably.
not the way.
No, not the way like Alex can, but I feel like they can get you from point A to point B.
Yeah,
They're not going to be doing all types
Nah,
of tricks.
you need somebody who can do that. You need somebody who's like, here comes the juice.
Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah.
So I really want to see how Bobby works in Chrissy's administration.
Mm-hmm.
How the Martians are going to handle, or how they're going to handle the fact that there was a faction within the Martian government, Martian military, that went rogue
Yeah.
and sold weapons to terrorists.
Yeah.
Sound a little familiar, Al?
Yeah.
And this is who I want to come back. I need Jared Harris to come back. You got the money.
Did he not die?
Anderson Doss, remember? Because they always kept saying, what are you and Doss doing? Because remember, Fred was always in talks with Doss.
Okay.
And see, this is what I want to know. Because Anderson Doss was supposedly the leader of the Belters, and they always talked about the fact that, because Doss is still alive, how was Marcos able to galvanize the Belters to his banner?
Yeah.
And Dawes is still out there.
Yeah.
So I want to see for season 6, bring Jared Harris's Anderson Dawes back and let this Belter, who was the king of Belters, take place.
Yeah.
I want to see that, and like I said, I love the character of Clarissa Romao, Nadine Nicole, beautiful woman. I enjoyed her. I like to see her evolution as a human being, from being a mass murderer who wanted Holden dead and did everything she could to kill him.
Yeah.
to
You feel like that reporter lady is going to come back? She served her purpose?
she's annoying. She can come back. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Just give me more stuff with Chrissy. Nobody curses like that woman. She's incredible.
Love her.
You're a pretty good cursor. You ain't like her.
Oh no,
I was like, man, she has mastered it. It's not even her first language, and she kills it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, English is my first language, and I'm not even killing it. Butcher that thing regularly.
Yeah, is that it?
If you like this content,
Yeah.
like, comment, subscribe. You know all the stuff. We don't have a Patreon because they won't let us have one. And
I don't know if that's true.
okay, make one and see what happens.
I didn't say I was going to do that. I just said I don't know if that's true. That's all I was
That next video when it's just empty over here, I'm gonna be like,
Leroy, myself.
hey, I guess we couldn't have a Patreon.
Fair enough.
Tried to warn them.
Yeah.
All the YouTube algorithm things. I don't know, man. This season was very good.
It was.
I am.
Shout out Jeff Bezos. I'm glad you liked this show and you decided to save it.
Well, season 6 it's going to be its final season on Amazon. The writers talked about the fact that it could also, again, go to another streaming service. They are going to wrap up this arc, but there are other arcs that they could do. This is a show that easily I could see on HBO Max. I could see it being. I'm really hoping it gets saved, but I really hope every streaming service starts investing in science fiction and space opera again.
Sure.
I hope every street, because Peacock is going to do another Battlestar Galactica show with Sam Ismail.
Yeah, Mr. Robot guy.
Mr. Robot. I'm hoping everybody. Apple TV is doing the Foundation series. We saw a trailer for that. Hopefully that Jared Harris is in that.
Okay.
So I'm hoping every streaming service starts developing space opera to at least the 10th of potential The Expanse is. Because it was effing amazing.
There we go. Effing amazing. Find us here on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WOTX.com. We out.
Beltalona!